What's going on, guys? BASSFZz here, and in today's video I want to talk about a phenomenon that hasn't happened recently, but it used to happen frequently, when my channel was a lot smaller than what it is now. Alright, so one thing that used to happen to me quite a bit was in some video, in any capacity, whenever I quite literally would mention the word God in a positive light or just in a neutral light, or just said it, someone would get offended. And I honestly mean offended. I don't mean like triggered. I'm not making fun of the person. It's just an accurate description of what happened. They would get upset at the fact that I had mentioned the word God, and it used to confuse the absolute hell out of me, mostly because I've never actually made a video where I specifically and only talked about God. I mean, I've talked about the Bible in a couple of videos, which, I mean, it would be strange or interesting to not mention them in those videos, but not recently. But more to the point that I'm making is that it was always strange to me, mostly because it would only be a one-off beat. It would only be a sentence. It would only be quite literally just me bringing it up, or just me telling you, the audience, how I feel particularly about something. And that would upset people. They would get angry. They'd leave comments, and call me stupid, or just straight unsubscribe. Quite literally, because I mentioned God, because they found out that I was a Christian. And again, it just confused the hell out of me. So it's no shock, no wonder, no surprise that those people turned out to be atheists, right? And let's, be clear. Let's clear the air and be specific here, because as it turns out, there's lots of atheists who watch my channel. I mean, they've got no issue. They've got no problem, right? But like I said, when my channel was growing, it happened a lot, like all the time, and it just confused me. I just always found it strange, mostly because they would be the same people who spout and talk about logic and rationality and a pure discussion and free exchange of ideas, and yet they hear God and then they don't want to listen anymore. They don't want to hear it. I don't know. So to prove my point here, or not to prove my point, but to show you guys, viewers, in real time, this phenomenon that used to happen to me all the time, I was cruising on YouTube like I usually do, and I found this video. Now, the video was called Christian Stupidity. So I was sitting there thinking, yeah, these guys must be stupid, right? So I go in the video, and I watch it, and I get to the halfway mark, and then the phenomenon I described happened. So I'm going to play that video, so you guys can see in real time this phenomenon that used to happen on my channel all the time. Take us away. Actually wait, I just need to clarify something. So this is the center of the video, okay? Like the first couple of minutes has absolutely nothing to do with what I'm talking about. And I guess to summarize, he shows us 3 different white people who say that God is more important to science than them, if I can summarize what they were saying, and he thought it was stupid. And again, I don't care. Then he showed some old woman talking about gay marriage, and she was yelling, and well, that happened. And then he showed some preacher talking about evolution, and he called him stupid. And so that's just a summary of what happened in the first 3 minutes. So, I mean, of course, if you want, you can go watch this video. But I think one funny, trivia fact is the creator of the video I'm responding to has, the funny, nasally voice that I use to make fun of atheists all the time. When I say, I believe in science and rational, yeah, he actually has that voice. And I feel kind of bad for making fun of atheists in that particular way. Because I find an atheist that actually has that voice. I'm just saying. I'm just, go on.
I'm gonna scroll the interwebs for something better to view, and hey, look here, I think I actually might have found something.
Wow, I took red marker off my face. Who the heck cares?
See, there was this Don't Judge Me challenge last year, and someone made a response video to the whole thing, so let's take a look at what they've said.
This Don't Judge Me challenge is complete bullcrap. It's proving nothing except the fact that you know how to put red marker on your face and then take it off.
I never really spoke about that challenge, but I do agree with him there.
Okay, yeah, well, there you go. We're 1 for 1 on the list of things that he agrees with, okay? Continue.
You're a good-looking person, and I get that, and you should enjoy being attractive, but don't use other people's insecurities to make yourself feel even better.
I'm actually surprised. This guy is talking a lot of sense, because this sort of thing does happen a lot.
Okay, well, that's point number 2 right there. Check that off the list. We're 2 for 2. He agrees with what Hunter is saying there. Okay.
When you participated in this challenge, did you even stop to think for 1 second that there might be people that actually have acne and cannot remove it by just putting their finger over the camera? Did you even once stop to think how this is making them feel?
I'm actually really intrigued by this. I think if people were to watch this video before doing that challenge, it could have changed their minds about actually going through with it. You know, I finally lost that church shit for something more interesting.
Okay. And there we go. We are 3 for 3. He agrees consistently with what Hunter is saying. He finds him to be reasonable. That he makes sense. 3 for 3, 3 points. Alright, even added on to some of the points that he was making, okay? So you saw it. So I'm not crazy, right? I'm not making this up. You saw. Now watch what happens next, okay?
We human beings are created in the image of God.
Bye!
I like the fuck.
Probably should have checked the channel before I actually watched the video, right?
Well, there you go. You see, real time. So now you know, viewer. I'm not making this up. I didn't wake up on a Wednesday afternoon in a cold sweat, imagining this stuff happening. And there you go. You saw it. Again, he consistently agrees with what he was saying. Found some value in what Hunter was saying. Hunter just mentions God, and then he just clicks off. He doesn't want to listen to it anymore. And who knows? I mean, I don't even know how the video ends. You know, and he doesn't know how the video ends either. Why? Because he got offended. And that's the correct word. He was offended by the fact that he just mentioned God. So let's continue to hear what he said. I'm pretty sure he's gonna logically and rationally explain to us why it was a problem that Hunter used the words that he used. Go on.
You know, I guess I was expecting a normal video void of any sort of lame mention of a deity, and all of a sudden you get the typical magical sky daddy making the entire video relevant because, you know, we couldn't have done without that reference. No, we had to have God in it somehow.
What? What? What are you talking about, man? No, I'm incredibly disappointed here. Not because what you just said was totally void of any logic or rationality, but the fact that I'm even more so confused now than I was a couple of seconds ago. I mean, I don't really think that him mentioning God is what gave the video relevancy, considering the fact that it was only one sentence or one thread line throughout, you know, the whole rest of it, however long it was. You know, we're not going to get to finish the video because you got offended. But I mean, you didn't even explain why it was bad or why it was wrong that he said that. I don't know, maybe I'm just stupid. Maybe I'm just stupid that way. No, see, here's something else that I find particularly interesting. It was more the nature of what Hunter said to begin with that made him click away. Now, about a little over a year ago, I made a video response to Lacey Green called Lacey Green Was Never Beachbody Ready. I'm pretty sure that's the title of it, right? And now, the main idea of the video was that if you like the way that you look, you're never going to be affected by ads. Ads are never going to hurt your feelings. This is the main idea. This is the main point. The main thing you can take away from the video. Now, in the video, I specifically mentioned God, like, I think 2 or 3 times. Or specifically, I mentioned the line, if you're made in the image of God, a couple of times. And I did that on purpose because I wanted to see how many people were going to get upset. And not to my surprise, it actually got some people to be offended. Some people actually were in the comment section arguing about whether or not God existed, which was interesting to me. The fact that, 1, my plan worked out flawlessly, and 2, the fact that these people, they didn't even see what I was doing. They really, I don't know, whatever. But the point is, in the video that I made, personally, when I said, I'm pretty sure when I said the first time, I don't remember completely, but when I said that I think that I'm made in the image of likeness of God, the point that I was making was that I like the way I look, so ads aren't going to bother me. It was a throwaway line. I was just saying, just that's personally how I feel. That's just me. And that's why since I like me, I'm not going to be bothered. Which is a point consistent with or without the mention of a God, sure, but I mean, you could get that point with God, so I don't see why that would make anyone not want to listen or not hear anymore or bother anyone, considering the fact that I'm not wrong and my logic is consistently through, but it's that same line that got me. I don't know. It confuses me, but you should continue.
Well, let's take a trip on this channel and find something else to have a good laugh at. Hey, I actually found one.
Nothing says hatred and bigotry like a man and a woman getting married. How many stories have you heard about Christian bakeries being ruined by gay activists? Why don't gay people just ask a non-Christian bakery?
I could talk a lot about it, but I think this part sums it up pretty well.
If you have the rights to believe gay marriage is okay, I have the rights to believe it's not.
If you have the right to believe that slavery is wrong, then I have the right to believe it's okay. Don't be infringing on my traditional Christian values, okay?
Now, there are two things that I find to be particularly interesting about the storyline here. Point one, the scriptures that he called upon, right? Like if we look at Ephesians verse 5 through 8, you're going to find something pretty funny, particularly about verse 9, which he didn't include for reference, okay? But watch this. Watch. I'm going to just summarize what Ephesians 5 through 8 was. It's just basically saying to slaves that you treat your master well. You serve your master to the best of your ability. Why? Because the real person that you're trying to appease, or the real person that you're looking up to, is actually your Lord in heaven, Jesus Christ. That's the real person. You serve or you treat people well to the best of your ability, even when you're a slave. Just a summary. Just summarize what those scriptures were. Now, the funny thing is verse 9 of Ephesians chapter 5 is, and I'm not making this up, you can go read it yourself. It says, and to the master, you should do the same thing. In other words, to summarize, the uniquely Christian idea, you just treat people well regardless of your social status. Still social status. I mean, either if you're a slave or a master, it doesn't matter. The real person you're trying to appease is the Lord God, so you just treat people well. That's what the scriptures were about. And I find it strange that he's trying to say that slavery is a traditional Christian value, even though slavery existed long before Christianity did. That doesn't even make any sense. But more to it than that. One thing that I thought was funny, well actually no, I'm just going to let him keep talking and then I'll explain the second thing that I was saying.
I'm being discriminated against. This is persecution against Christians. I can also continue to believe that the human sacrifices will cause the sun to rise, and that women are good for nothing but sex, because you have the right to believe the opposite, You can't infringe on my beliefs. Freedom of speech, dude.
So I'm going to have to pause it right there. See, the thing that I find particularly interesting about what he's saying is, that's not a counter-argument. In fact, he's absolutely correct. You do have the right to believe all of those things. Now, I understand what he was doing. I'm not dumb. What he was doing was he was juxtaposing completely ridiculous and inflammatory things against what Hunter said to make Hunter look bad by comparison. I'm not a dumb person. I know what he was doing, but I mean, to compare gay marriage to saying slavery is good. It's like, come on. It's like really, nigga. Like, I mean, yeah. But again, that's not a counter argument. Yes, you can believe all of those things.
This is by far one of the worst arguments against gay marriage that I've ever heard.
Well, that might have something to do with the fact that that was not an argument against gay marriage. If anything, it was an argument about why people shouldn't be fired from their jobs because they disagree with gay marriage. That's what the point was. That's what he was making. That you shouldn't, lose your whole livelihood because you have an opinion that your boss doesn't like. It wasn't an argument about why gay marriage was wrong, simply saying you have the right to say it. I mean, that's not arguing for anything. What he's saying is that you shouldn't lose your life, or your life shouldn't be ruined because you have an opinion people don't like. That's why it was the worst argument you ever heard against gay marriage, because it was an argument against gay marriage.
I mean, there's a lot of other ones that actually cause a little bit of thinking, like, the incest one, which, once again, has been proven wrong. But, yeah, you have the right to an opinion, but when your opinion actively discriminates and infringes on the rights of others, it's open to all the ridicule it deserves and whatever comes its way.
Yeah, but that's a totally useless thing to say in context, because no one is saying that it shouldn't be ridiculed. People are just saying that you shouldn't, be forced to be a starving, hungry nigga on the street because you said something someone didn't like.
Want to offend someone? Just start talking about God. I mean specifically the God of the Bible. You know, the one that loves us no matter what, is always accepting and died for our sins? That's the offensive God. What about like the Islamic God Allah or something? No, see, that's not offensive. It's the Christian God that's the hater. Believing that an intelligent being created the world is stupid. You should believe that all this complexity came from an explosion that came out of nowhere and then we all evolved from fish. That's what smart people believe.
For whatever reason, he mocks Republicans again, which, I don't know, man. I've seen Republicans get mocked since I was like 5 years old. I'm kind of burnt out. You would think people would kind of get tired of mocking Republicans, but they don't. Huh.
When a country is not related to any religion and does not have a stance on religion, things like gay marriage are going to happen. Teaching of evolution is going to happen, and most importantly, the fall of ignorance is going to be in effect. I mean, there's a fucking reason the Bible Belt is literally the joke of the USA and the entire world.
Alright, well, that's the end of his video, and you can watch the whole thing on his channel, you know, I mean, links in the description box below. Now, like I said, the whole reason why I wanted to make this video from the beginning was the fact that I wanted to show you, viewer, in real time, that some people will quite honestly dismiss anything and everything that you have to say simply because you mentioned something they didn't like. Now, in this video in particular, I'm focusing on Christians because, well, it happened to me specifically for that reason. Now, but I have seen it happen a lot. In fact, you could take the message that I'm putting in this video and completely invert it. If you're a Christian and you completely dismiss anything an atheist said because they said something you don't like, well, you're missing out on a lot of life too, because as it turns out, people with different opinions can offer you different things in life. It's okay for people to say things that you don't like. It's okay for people to have different opinions. I mean, if you're an atheist, it's okay if someone thinks that they're made in the image and likeness of God. It's not like they think they're a vampire and they're cutting people's wrists and drinking their blood. I mean, like, if you were like, hey man, I don't think I want to hear the rest of your diatribe, when someone starts the conversation or brings that into the forefront of a conversation. But if someone's just like, I think that, God loves me and he created me to be perfect, or created me to be what I'm supposed to be, I really fail to see why that would bother you anyway. And even then, more to the point of what I'm saying today, let's think about this one for a second, okay? People, we are all born and raised by different people, right? Me and my sisters are completely different people, and we were raised by the same man and woman, right? In the same house, no less. Still, completely different people. So, I mean, to assume that anyone and everyone who was raised in a different house or in a different state or in a different area of the same town is going to completely agree with you on everything is totally asinine at best, honestly. And it's a good thing to have people say things that you don't like, have a different perspective. It's okay. It's what, makes the world go around. See, the most interesting thing about that video is that we saw that the guy who made the video, the atheist, did find value in what Hunter said. He did find some of the things he said to be reasonable. But because he mentioned God now, or because he's a Republican, I guess, now he's never going to listen to anything else Hunter has to say again. If he does listen, it'll probably only be to mock him. Instead of learning or hearing different opinions that he might find himself to agree, or listening to a different perspective that might change his mind on something, because he said one thing, now he's going to dismiss everything else that happened. And the way I see it is this, honestly, viewer, if you completely dismiss anything anyone said, atheist, liberal, Christian, Republican, conservative, whatever, in all honesty, I think that's a bigger disservice to you than it is to the other person. I mean, who knows? If you listen to them talk, they might have something of value to give to you. But you wouldn't know because you completely dismissed them. So that being said, man, I certainly hope you guys enjoyed today's video. And if you did, man, go ahead and click the like button. Yeah, shoot, go ahead and click that subscribe button. Comment in the comment box below. And as always, you guys have yourselves a great day. And I'll see you cool cats soon. Adios.